All right, part three, the last part. Immigration in World War One. When World War One began in Europe in 1914, the number of immigrants coming to the United States fell. Because of the fighting between countries, ships were sunk and it was dangerous or impossible to travel from Europe to the United States. Some countries refused to let their young men leave, insisting that they serve in the army. Before the war, a large number of European immigrants had worked in factories and plants. Once the war began and immigration was shut off, American businesses, excuse me, American business people had to look to other countries for workers. A company in Bettendorf, which made train equipment, began to bring in workers from Mexico. Mexicans also immigrated to other parts of Iowa. Hispanic immigrants. 1910, there were only 590 Mexican Americans living in Iowa, but by 1920, that number had risen to about 2,500. Some of these Spanish-speaking settlers worked in agriculture, while others found jobs in Iowa cities. For example, some Mexican Americans moved to West Des Moines, where they worked in the railroad yards. Others made their homes in Mason City, Davenport, or Council Bluffs. More recently, Mexican Americans have come to Iowa and other parts of the Midwest to work in meatpacking plants. They have settled both in larger communities such as Sioux City and in the smaller towns such as Columbus Junction. In 1990, 32,647 Hispanics resided in Iowa. Spanish is the second major language used in the state on an everyday basis. And one thing to mention, guys, like I said, this is an older book, but our Hispanic population, our Mexican American population, has gone up even more from that 32,000 number. So, anyways, back to the reading. As the Latino community grows, Latin American music and food and fiestas have enriched Iowa's culture. Now, I don't know about you, but I enjoy all of that, especially Mexican food. Recent immigration. The most recent immigrants to Iowa are refugees from Southeast Asia who began coming to our state in 1975. War had been going on in Southeast Asia for many years, and people who lived there suffered greatly. Thousands of Vietnamese, Cambodian, Laotian, and Hmong left their homes seeking refuge, a place they would be protected from danger and from governments that they feared. Fun fact for you guys, one of Mrs. Peak's son is married to somebody who is Hmong. I've never really asked Mrs. Peak her daughter-in-law's background. I'm not sure maybe if her parents or her grandparents came here as immigrants from the Vietnam War. I'm not sure on that, but if I think of it, I'm going to ask her that. Be interesting to find out. But just as a little fun fact for you. Um, One group from Southeast Asia are the Thai Dam. Until the 1250s, they had lived in China, after that in North Vietnam, and then in Laos. When Laos was taken over by the communists, the Thai Dam fled to Thailand, and from there some of them came to Iowa. People here, especially Governor Robert Ray, that's our very old governor in the past, helped the Thai Dam get settled. That meant helping them find homes and jobs and get their children started in school. In their first 2 decades in Iowa, the Thai Dam have repeated much of the experience of Iowa's other immigrant groups. They have worked hard, participated in community activities, and won a place in Iowa's society. Thai Dam leaders are respected by other community leaders and consulted on such public matters as education and human services. Like earlier immigrants, the Thai Dam families have brought along their crafts and culture. At different events in Des Moines, they have presented native dances and prepared special food. All through the 19th and 20th centuries, people have immigrated to Iowa. They came here because of poor conditions in their homelands and because of the opportunities in the United States. Most immigrants wanted to buy land and become farmers, but others preferred to seek their fortunes in Iowa's cities and towns. Iowa's immigrant groups have had many different occupations. Immigrants have made an important economic contribution to our state. They settled on the land to produce corn and pork and other things to sell. These sales brought money into the state. Immigrants who settled in cities and towns did their part to help the state develop and become more prosperous. All of us, except American Indians, are descended of immigrants. Some of our great grandparents or great great grandparents came from Europe. Ancestors of other Iowans came from Africa or Southeast Asia. Because most of our country is made up of descendants of immigrants, we are much like other states. Each ethnic group has contributed something different to our culture, words, crafts, or holidays. Our rich cultural heritage is a gift from many immigrants who settled here. So, all in all, guys, the thing to keep in mind is our state, and like much of our country, has a lot of immigrant history. Like I mentioned there in the end, and we talked about this at the start of the year, unless you're descended from Native Americans, your family tree going back at some point, your family was new immigrants in Iowa and in the United States. And like we talked about at the start of the year, we have that melting pot of these cultures blending and coming together. And Iowa is a great example of that. You can see Norwegian, German, Hispanic, Asian. There's all these different cultural things that we have. And it's because of the immigrant families who came to our state. And ultimately, the big thing I want you to keep in mind of why they came to our state was better opportunities. Um, these immigrants did not have the opportunities in their homeland that they have in Iowa, and they didn't have the freedom that they had, or excuse me, that they have in Iowa and that we have today that we should all be very grateful for. So, guys, in saying that, I've made all three of these videos now. I'm going to keep it to Wednesday through Friday. I always like to just give you guys some extra time. And frankly, I'm hoping that it's always 15 minutes a day, like I've said before. So I'm just going to keep it as this. So now, after watching these videos, please just answer those discussion questions. And that's it for the week. So have a great weekend, guys. And thank you.